Let's try it real quick.
We're professional. And I'll do your intro later and stuff. I can edit stuff.
Okay.
I look so pale.
Yeah,
Get your
I'm
oh, sorry.
really looking forward to whatever is coming next in the Marvel lineup. I think like you just gotta approach it how Stan Lee would approach it. You know what Stan Lee would do in this situation?
Hmm.
He'd just be like, "Face front, true believers!" Ah! Ah!
That's awesome.
All right,
That's awesome. You're gonna get sponsored by Marvel.
you better.
That's
Hi.
right. That was good work, man. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna get situated. Can you hear a slight buzzing in your background? I have a little space heater on. Can you
No.
hear it? Nice. Good to see you, man. Is that your pad?
Yeah.
Nice. Can you hear my voice okay? Is my voice
Yeah.
normal?
I hear you.
You can see, yeah, you never seen my apartment. This is it. It's just this room. This is,
Cool.
yeah, it's very tiny. I mean, that's like, there's the door, and then I'm the other side of the apartment. It's like just one square room. It's like a bedroom, but without the bed. It's very fancy. My cat loves it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I'm actually
Let's try.
gonna get a cat backpack and take me around. Give me 1 second. I'm just lining up my thing. I'm gonna read your intro, and then
Oh
I'm
wait,
lining up my Mike Pinkerton questions.
I got one quick idea. Okay.
Yeah.
What about if you got a little front pouch for your cat? Like right here,
Yeah.
and then you're dressed up as the Krang robot from Ninja Turtles,
That's awesome. I
and then
remember
have
Kang.
like there. Yeah.
That's rad.
Who's your favorite?
I'm gonna get a backpack for him. I was gonna get a stroller, but I don't know if that's just like my apartment's too small, so it'll just always be in there. I'm like, or versus maybe
Yeah.
I'll just start with a backpack. So I'm scared he's going stir crazy.
Mm.
It's just like a little room. Hey, buddy.
What's his name?
Thanos.
Thanos. Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I named him after because when I got him, he was all a homeless guy had kicked him, and so it wasn't
Oh.
broken, but it was swollen his paw, and it was right when that
Oh.
movie was coming out, so it looked like he had like the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh. And now he looks like.
Oh,
Does he look like
he,
Josh?
he knows his name. He's standing right next to me. Here, hold on. I'll hold him up for you. Oh,
Did you?
sorry, buddy. Oh, sorry, sorry. It's okay. Can you hold on?
Hey,
Oh, Dano, say hi. Say hi.
oh my gosh! Look at him.
I love you.
He does look a little bit like Josh Brolin.
So he gets that all the time.
Yeah.
When I was trying to get him adopted, I would always tell people, they'd be like, "What does he look like?" I was like, "He's like the Brad Pitt of cats." Like, I don't know, what do you want me to say? So this is good. Someone took him. I lived in Portland. I finally found someone to adopt him. This waitress would always walk by on the way to the train stop I lived near. And there was like this porch there, and she was like, "I'll adopt him if you walk with me to carry this big giant carrier he's in. It's like 2 miles." And I did it through Portland, and then he escaped, and the next day just ran back to. Can you hear that?
Uh-uh.
Cars in the background. This is good
Good audio.
background control. Yeah, giant cars. So loud. But then he escaped and just ran back miles. It would have been just like through hardcore city. So I was just like,
Oh,
I'll just keep him.
come see,
Yeah. Sorry.
come see you,
Yeah, to come back. Yeah.
dude. That's what's meant to be, man. He's your boy.
Yeah, that's why I kept him. It was right when my dog was passing too, of like
Oh
old
yeah.
age. I was just like, oh, kitty, you want to come back up here?
Have you got any photos of him?
I didn't know, not back then. And he was kind of small and little kid. I was living in the hood. It was bad. He had like two
Oh,
puncture marks in him at one point. It was the Portland hood, so it was all methy. I'm trying to think
I
if there's anything I need to do. Oh yeah, I get the question.
so what's crazy to think is like in the Marvel universe, okay,
Yeah.
if you had a cat named Thanos, that would be super fucked up, dude.
It would. It would be like having a cat named like, yeah.
Like imagine if we crossed over into an alternate universe, okay? Actually, are you recording this right now?
Uh yes, it is.
Okay. So hear me out. All right. If you crossed over into an alternate universe, just imagine, okay?
Yeah.
You meet the cat, a guy with a cat, and you're like, oh, this is such a cute kitty. What's the cat's name? He's like, Oh, his name is Joseph Stalin. We named him after his country.
That's awesome. That's
And you're
funny.
like, oh, Joseph Stalin's a real person in my universe. They're probably like, oh, this must be really awkward, huh?
That's really funny. That's awesome.
That would
That's
be
why
so.
I did it.
Oh,
I'm Spider-Man in another universe.
everybody is though, but you can be
Yeah.
too.
Spider-Man mixed with Batman, Spider-Bat. Okay, uh I'm gonna go audio only because I don't know if when it gives me the file how it's gonna do it. And I'm just
Right,
used to editing it in my
for sure.
super free Logic program. Hold on here. I hope I don't hang up on you.
You're listening to Colin O'Reilly on B Radio.
That's rad. You could do that voice. I'm gonna have you do my voicemail for me at some point.
Please, Colin, let me introduce you to the BBC audience.
Okay, I'm gonna try your intro here. It's my first intro. He's living every week like it's Shark Week, taking in every day like it's New Year's Day, treating every manic episode like it's WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mike Pinkerton. Mike,
Uh,
welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. What a blast.
Yeah,
Having,
we. Oh, sorry.
I was saying having a big rush, been good. I'm enjoying it.
Nice. Yeah, we've already been talking here for a while, so I might use editing magic to fix this up later. Thank
Would
you
you
so much. Oh, sorry.
editing magic is currently the only religious practice I still engage in.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, what do you think about all this AI stuff?
Oof. I mean, you remember that movie AI?
Yeah,
Yeah, totally unrelated. I just thought it was a cool movie, but we're
it's
running AI,
very.
and like I think that one side of it is that we are in a society where we are requiring someone's work to be something that is to survive versus being fulfilling.
Yeah,
And we kind of went backwards from, this is your craft that your family does, this is your source of pride, which, hey, maybe not everyone has that anymore. That's totally fine. This is
yeah,
your craft, this is your source of family pride. That's totally fine. Honestly, I don't think everyone needs to be. But what kind of became, like this is you are doing something that generation after generation of people have been doing, you know?
yeah. No,
Uh,
that total. And now you also do wrestling. You are an
yeah,
amateur on the up and coming, soon to be professional wrestler.
yeah. In the moment, I'm training and open to any work that is given. I also have a little bit of experience filming sports, doing announcements for sports.
Nice. You're like a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
That would be cool if your wrestling persona was AI. You're just
Uh,
like a Terminator,
but you never know.
like I'm gonna assimilate you. No, I ask everybody this. So far, most of my guests just say no. Have you been following any of the UFO news? Any of the stuff going on in the
To some extent, yeah, but I haven't gotten it to point like weekly updates. Maybe like I see it every month or so.
Nice, that's awesome. You're like a casual conspiracy theorist.
That's a loaded term. I don't know if we can use. I would
How about
say realistically, the likelihood of extraterrestrial life, whatever that does mean, existing out there is true.
yeah,
Then on the other hand of it, like this is a sciencey show. We can talk about the Goldilocks zone, right?
yeah, oh yeah, please, yeah.
All right. I mean, for those of y'all playing at home, the Goldilocks zone is this concept where it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's just right. I'd like to apologize to anyone who had to listen to that. Anyways, the Goldilocks zones for humans and human life and other carbon-based life forms is Earth, which is basically its position between it'd be let me think it is between Venus and Mars, right? And more likely to being the third rock out or the third planet out from the sun, having the right size of moon, shape of moon, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, if you do think about it, like if we were to create, if I don't know, let's just say the chimpanzees had to adapt to Mars, atmospheric changes are totally different, right?
Yeah.
But there has to be something out there which has gone through a similar kind of phase.
Totally. Totally. I always feel sad that Mars seems so sad. It's like the closest planet to us, and there's not even like one tree. Elon Musk is always like, we gotta get to Mars, we gotta get to Mars. I'm like, there's nothing there. It's, it's like Reno without all the scenery.
Well, it does have a lot of raw materials. That's what people really are interested in.
I guess. It's got space. I just think
Mhm.
if it had like one lake, maybe like a waterfall, it
Yeah,
just seems, yeah, I don't know. If that's our best bet, humanity's doomed.
I mean, our real best bet could be having Lagrange points that are populated by humans.
Yeah. And that's, you mean where points between the Earth and the sun where gravity is sort of canceled out. You
Yeah.
could just sort of, they talk about wanting to base, I think they even maybe put the, I'm not smart enough to know off the top of my head, but I think they maybe put the James Webb Space Telescope at a Lagrange point.
Yeah. Or a great example would be Gundam. You know, Gundam.
Yeah, the anime.
Yeah, the anime about the space colonies. So the different sides, the different space colonies are at Lagrange points.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Gundam's the new NASA. That's what they say. If UFOs are real, there could be some Gundam out there.
Oh yeah. So realistically though, Gundam is actually very loved by the Japanese government, okay?
Yeah.
So they tracked some IPs. This is a fun story. They tracked some IPs that were related to Japanese government computers, you know, just like normal government issued computers, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. And there were like 10,000 to 100,000 hours dedicated to updating Gundam Wikipedia articles in Japanese and it's just like, yeah, so great, right?
They love their pop culture, especially of like mechanized giant robot things. Um,
I would
Voltron, Robotech, Gundam.
Gundam's pretty much like the closest. I would say the closest equivalent might be Star Trek,
Yeah,
but
yeah. We don't
larger.
really have. We had Pacific Rim was kind of, but that didn't really.
Yeah,
I mean, there it seems. I know there's that. I don't know if it's Gundam, but there's a giant mechanized statue. I don't know if you've seen on the internet. It's like 10, 15 stories tall, and you can go
yeah,
and see it. And
yeah. That's the. So the joke is that. So I don't know. Let's do a ad for Bandai. Let's just do it. You know what? While we're talking about Lagrange points, Colin O'Reilly's podcast is brought to you by Gundams, little tiny Gundam model kits.
I would love to be sponsored by them.
Oh, dude, amazing! I wish, but so they're at scale, right?
Yeah.
So usually the most common scale is like 1 and 144 scale, you know,
Okay.
and they get bigger and bigger. Some of the more common ones that are like still pretty big are like 1/60th scale. But the one in Japan is listed at 1/1 scale. The joke is that
Wow.
it's the biggest model kit they've ever made because it's a life-size Gundam model kit. So it doesn't actually do everything a Gundam does,
Yeah.
but
That's
it's
cool.
yeah.
Awesome. I'm fascinated by their love of that stuff. Do they have arcades? I've always wanted to go to Tokyo. It's like one of my dreams because they say it's the size of New York, whereas New York has like 8 million people, Tokyo has like 40 million. Um, I would love to see that. It seems like so many arcades there. And yeah, I'm fascinated by their love of their pop culture. I wonder how much it seems like pre-World War II, they were so always run by an emperor for thousands of years and then became
Um,
at the end they're so militant, so militarized, sort of killing their way through Asia and then overnight sort of
you ever
had
heard of
their world change.
I think if I do discuss this topic, we might actually lose a Gundam sponsor, but I could discuss it later.
Go for it. Yeah, it's yeah.
You
Pretty
ever
much.
heard of so Emperor Hirohito actually gave this speech
Yeah.
called the Collective Repentance Speech.
Yeah.
And what happened was he didn't give it to a huge audience. He gave it to a group of military officials and some government officials, okay?
Yeah.
And then some people from Asahi Shimbun, which is the newspaper.
Okay.
Fun fact, later became TV Asahi, one of their subsidiaries, and that's where Japanese Power Rangers was broadcast first.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, but back during World War II, towards the end, they were basically getting the message for the Emperor, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And he said that Japan as a whole needs to repent for what we have done.
Oh wow.
Basically, it wasn't the fault of any single person in Japan that the war happened or that the war lost or that the war was lost, excuse me, but every member, every Japanese citizen would have to repent for it.
Oh.
But here's where it gets crazy. So some members of the Japanese military
Yeah.
tried to make sure the message wouldn't get out. So they actually had to smuggle copies out of the I believe the Japanese imperial home.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they had to smuggle messages out and then give them to newspapers like Asahi, Shimbun.
That's
And
really cool.
if they hadn't gotten that message out though,
Yeah.
it would be a totally different situation.
Yeah.
Like there were still members of the military who wanted to basically go in and or continue the war even after the first two atomic bombs were dropped.
Yeah, I know that, which is crazy to me. That's like total optimists. That's
Mhm.
it's like I know they got nuclear weapons, but
Yeah,
okay.
we don't know.
It would be terrible. World War II would have I can't my dad fought in World War II, you know, he was much older than I was born.
Mhm.
It seems
Did he?
like now, I hope we don't have another one, China and Taiwan.
Oh yeah. I mean, in that situation, man, you just have to think like first off that there's a lot of folks who think that there's some kind of biblical significance to World War III.
Yeah,
There was like no biblical significance to World War II whatsoever, or World War One, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
They
yeah.
have, you know. Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's that quote was Einstein is like, I, you know, World War Three would be fought with, I'm just paraphrasing, I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like World War Three would be fought with nuclear weapons, and World War Four would be fought with like sticks and stones, because
Yeah.
there'd be nothing left.
I mean, there's a good chance of that, man. That's just what we're dealing with.
I know, I know. If I had money, I would buy a bomb shelter. I'd be like Mark Zuckerberg and buy a giant palatial.
Or just, manipulate politics so much that everyone just chooses peace and we just have like a ceasefire around the world.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, I keep wondering how long Russia's going to keep trying in Ukraine. Seems like they won't give up. They're doing so bad. But yeah, maybe that'll be UFOs if UFOs kind of whatever be seen en masse or get found out to reveal themselves. Maybe it would make armies chill out and don't want to fight each other so much.
Could be.
Uh, or
Be
maybe
more
even worse.
could be also.
Maybe it'd be World War V. Have you ever seen a UFO or had like a paranormal experience?
I might have. I can
Yeah.
never but yeah. I have looked into what is called spiritism. I believe of folks' spiritual presence on Earth in some form.
Totally. You believe there's like an afterlife and some sort of.
I'm not the most certain. I think though that there are signs that point to the possibility of an afterlife a little more than the possibility of nothing whatsoever, but we don't really know.
Yeah. I rented a room years ago in Silver Lake, and I was up reading late one night, and it was just like a small room, very narrow. And I swore I just saw this lady like walk through the wall, like walk across the room.
Wow.
And the next day I said to my roommates, it was like a couple I rented the room from. I was like, I think I saw this like lady walk through the wall, like a ghost or something. And they were like, yeah, we didn't want to tell you, but like the previous tenant OD'd in there. It was like this lady, and I was like, oh.
They could have just told you, like some people would be cool with that.
Yeah, I was almost kind of glad they did it because then I was just like, I felt like I proved it. I was just like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I didn't maybe imagine it. She came back. She was looking for her car keys or anything. You've never seen no like just a UFO, a flying saucer chilling.
I've seen a flying saucer, definitely. I mean, or I've seen things that could be from far away. Like, I mean, I've seen what is plain and simply things I cannot identify from flying from far away.
Nice. And
Yeah.
you grew up here in the South Bay in California?
Yeah, well, I grew up in around the Long Beach area, which has had a lot of military aircraft, so that could be the other thing too that it's pretty quiet now, actually. I'm heavily used to just flights going over all the time usually. Like,
Yeah. Is Catalina far from there?
um Cali is far from everything.
Yeah. But is
You
that where
don't
the ferry is? Is that like where you go to? Because Catalina is like a UFO hotspot, they say.
really, huh?
I've
I'm
always
from,
wanted to steal a flying saucer and travel through time. It's like a goal of mine. So I've always been trying to find like where do they park them and just at first I
yeah.
would ask for a ride. I probably just sound such a thief right now. I've never stolen anything or stolen a car, but if they said no, I would just have to be like, you gotta let me.
Those can control time. I think there might be two separate things going on there.
Yeah. Well, they say sometimes with uh if they go with relativity, if you go fast enough, you can sort of travel through time. Like if you're
Wow.
moving through space, you're moving through time, and if you're moving through time, you're moving through space. You can't do one without the other. That's why they call it space time.
Huh.
And if you go faster than the speed of light, which you technically are not supposed to be able to, is what relativity says, you would go back in time. But like there's time dilation or time slow, like they're essentially like little, they could be zipping through the space-time continuum, what have you. But
Right.
who
But
knows? Yeah, I don't know.
in
They
at that,
won't slow down. They won't roll down a window and answer any questions.
yeah.
Um, that's awesome. Well, we've been going now for a little while. Because we started recording, I'll mesh these together. I know we had talked for a while before this. Is there anything else you want to get into here? You want to talk about paranormal, the ghost,
We do
comedy?
CBD. Tell me your favorite club. I will come do stand up there. Tell them, hey, there's this guy, Mike Pinkerton. I want to see him do stand up at this location. I'm
Nice.
an agent now.
Oh, I meant to tell you, yeah, I saw there's a place now in Hermosa Beach that's doing open
Uh-oh.
mics called Pedonies. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's like Pednoes. I think I'm probably misspelling it. You can Google it from there, but I'm gonna go check it out. It's on Thursdays.
Okay.
I love pizza, and like Hermosa's pretty close to
I can totally see you playing in a miniseries.
who.
If they ever did an American version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I could totally see you being Arthur Dent.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
Or Prefect, maybe Ford Prefect too.
That's awesome. I
That'd
love
be
Doug Adams was great. I loved reading those books as a kid.
I haven't read the books, I should.
Oh, they're really funny. Yeah,
They're just so weird.
they're super weird and out there. And now kids are lucky. It's sort of like a renaissance of sci-fi. There's like all these Netflix shows. There's Foundation I haven't watched. It was kind of
Oh,
boring, but everything just gets made so quickly. Whereas I feel like I grew up in the 80s, none of that was possible. You just had to read like these giant nerd novels.
it's true. Or there was Do you know what I think needs to be made into a CW show, but I don't know if they will, or maybe even like an HBO or whatever Max show.
Well,
Have you read the comic Hawk World? It's Hawkman and Hawkwoman.
no, I've seen the cover, but I've never read it.
Probably my favorite comic series of all time. It starts off where it's like after Thanagarians tried to invade Earth and it didn't go so well, you know?
Yeah,
And it goes kind of like into their society, how they've become so imperialist by conquering all these other cultures that they've like lost sight of their own personal culture, you know?
oh wow.
Yeah, how like their police force is like overly brutalized and how they have like these highly just like survival of the fittest, just like survivalist, like very brutal climate, you know?
That's cool. I'll check that out. I started subscribing to DC Comics online.
Check it out. It gets better though. So what
Oh,
happens?
there's- yeah.
The first miniseries is the first Hawk World, you know, the second Hawk World, guess where it is?
Where?
It's Earth.
Oh, nice.
Because Earth is in a world where it's this greedy, opportunistic, often brutal, you know, strongest takes lead world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea they delved into the mythology that much of that guy. I was surprised he didn't get used more in the Snyderverse,
Mhm. The
whatever they
problem
call it.
Hawkman has so many different versions
Yeah.
that they're not sure always what to do.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with him. I just know his look because he's so iconic. He's got
Yeah.
like a hawk face and like wings and like a human body, and then just carries like a mace. Like a
Yeah. There's also the Manhawks from his universe, which are basically like giant birds that have human heads. Isn't
that's
that crazy?
crazy. Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be tough to adapt, I guess we could see.
I think it might get work. But
Did you see Ant-Man when they have that giant when they tried to make the Moloch guy? They
oh
have that
yeah,
giant head. So it looks so bad.
I thought it was pretty good. I just thought that like they need to justify why he's a different Modoc, you know?
Yeah.
It'll happen. They'll figure that out.
Yeah, Marvel was I wonder if they'll pull it back. They were so good for so long, but
Honestly, I liked Ant-Man. It felt like I think Ant-Man did a pretty good job of like featuring Kang, you know, to some extent.
yeah,
Um, I think Paul Rudd was awesome.
yeah.
Shout out, it's a great cast, but I think maybe that could have been a little bit tighter. But no, honestly, like for the most part, it was a great, like solid Marvel movie,
Yeah.
and it definitely on the humor side, like Ant-Man does, which you need.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now they say they're gonna make less Marvel movies and try to focus more on quality. So
I think also they should do more TV shows. The TV shows have been where it's at the most.
yeah, I really liked them. I'm excited they're doing Daredevil is coming back.
Yeah.
I
Have you
loved
seen
Loki.
Hulk?
Do what?
Have you seen Daredevil on She-Hulk?
I like She-Hulk. Yeah, I saw him on there. I thought it was great. Yeah.
And the
I
yellow
could
Daredevil?
see though the CGI was really bad. Some of it was kind of hokey. I felt bad for it. You could tell it was a show that was just like had a huge budget. But they rushed it. It was like made really quick and
She-Hulk?
yeah,
I thought She-Hulk CGI looked pretty good.
really.
The whole pretty good, but I think maybe Abomination wasn't as good as he could have been, you know?
Yeah.
And the Hulk King guy didn't look as great.
Yeah, it's terrible now because they keep, I guess, like trying to do they keep going for lowest bidder on the CGI stuff. They find a company that says they can do it for the least amount of money and the fastest, and now it looks like it. You know, like Avengers looked really good. Thanos looked really like realistic, like you bought into it. But the other stuff, Ant-Man, I thought looked so bad. The Ant-Man 2, just the Kane guy, and it always looked to me like they were in front of green screens, just running around, just like look over there.
Oh yeah. Or dude, well, honestly, they should just go back to getting some bodybuilders and painting them green.
Yeah, that's what I grew up on. Lou Ferrigno terrified me as a kid as the Hulk. That
Dude.
was he just had that contacts in and looked like a crazy man.
You know, have you seen I haven't watched him yet, but there's the trial of the Incredible Hulk. Have you seen that?
Years ago when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I
that's the movie Daredevil in it.
Oh, I didn't even remember. Yeah, is it with is that the one with Thor, the old like 70s?
Version, yeah, but they had almost so they had a Hulk movie with Thor in it, and they had a Hulk movie with Daredevil in it. I think they were trying to sort of.
I knew there was the Thor, the him and the Thor one from back in the day, but I didn't know there was the him and the Daredevil. I'm sure that's very terrible.
I don't know. It could be great, you know. Like Bill Bixby, really.
He was very good. The show was really well done.
He's not as good as Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo is way more.
Yeah, that's
I think if Mark
so
Ruffalo had the time to like grow with the role, you know, I think he'd be fucking amazing.
the
Like,
CGI was amazing on Avengers with him.
yeah, he does really. Yeah, I think I don't know what he is. Maybe it's just maybe he's just very good at being CGI'd. You know, he just has a very CGIable like face and presence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he pulls it off really well. That's why I have hope for the thing with Fantastic Four. I guess they're going to try to do the same way
Mhm.
because he's a really tough character to pull off. It's like, how do you?
I like Michael Chiklis. I think that Michael Chiklis did awesome,
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't bad. I forgot about that. That was.
and but he really put work into that role. Like a lot of folks don't realize that.
Yeah, I don't recognize. I'm old and out of the loop, so I don't know who any of the young actors are, but the new guy for it, I didn't recognize him.
Oh, the new one was actually Michael B. Jordan for Thing. Never mind. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he's been in. He was in some other stuff.
Like some British guy. I haven't seen anything. I'm so out of the loop.
You've probably seen other actors in there. There's some Michael B. Jordan who
Oh
played
no, you're. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking the new one that they just announced with
uh,
Marvel.
too
They're
much.
gonna, yeah, they're gonna make like a new one set in the '60s. It looks like.
I'm very stoked about that. You know, that's really how it should be done.
Yeah, I told you I read all the first run of Fantastic Four
Oh,
from like the '60s when they came on the scene through the late '90s, and now I'm reading the second run from the '90s through the up to present or whatever. Um, but it's yeah, because it originated in the '60s and it had that sort of feel. And I wish they could do it as like a mini series because as you read the comic over like years, and you're a nerd, because the each issue would come out, I guess, every month. So it's like 10, 12 issues a year, whatever. Um, the stories and their arcs seem a little different than you can like cram into a movie. It just seems like they always get it wrong. I think it needs more room to like breathe.
yeah, because they really that is one thing that has been hard to capture for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It's just like how volatile the team really is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't get along and they have these like long arcs and um
Mhm.
like the Johnny Storm guy never really gets the girl. Like they always put it in the movie as like this sort of whatever. But in the comic, it's like he never it never really works out.
Yeah. What a dark. What a dark.
Yeah. What a dark world for comics. Well dude,
Johnny,
this oh sorry.
Johnny, how you doing? My name is Johnny Storm.
It's
Smoke
are you reading any comics right now that you like? Is there anything?
need to. You're right. I need to get into it.
Yeah, you don't subscribe to any of the online.
No, I just go online to read comic online.
Yeah. Yeah, you're saying you do that with G.I. Joe Transformers. I got to do that. I want to read all those.
So one run I think you'd really like is, have you heard of Tom Scioli?
No.
So he did also the Superpowers comic,
Oh, okay.
and he's kind of more famous for his podcasting about comics, you know.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But oh, he did Fantastic Four Grand Design.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's like a separate graphic novel.
Yeah,
I haven't read it, but that's cool. I will. I'll check it out. I'll put it on my Marvel to read list.
a lot of cool stuff. So he did this comic where it's like this, it's definitely an alternate universe for Transformers and GI Joe,
Yeah.
where basically it's all very streamlined to feel like its own original universe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And they coexist there together, Transformers and G.I. Joe.
I mean, kind of. They fight, but yeah, eventually. They
That's
have
pretty
so many
cool.
characters that are, and then like there's so many characters and cameos and like reimaginings, different concepts, you know.
Yeah. Sort of like the
It's
Spider-Verse.
yeah, actually, I think I mean it is very tongue in cheek and like it's written to be very um like very over the top and wild, but it's cool.
I was gonna watch, I haven't seen it yet. I saw the first Spider-Verse. I think there's like two, and then I was gonna watch the second one.
I think yeah, the second one's really good. But I feel like maybe it didn't have the same like pop as the first one.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Uh, but I feel like they didn't do enough, like, or they did almost like a little too much like experimenting and getting off the like kind of away from the first one, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that makes sense. It was sort of like trying to milk some more money for a sequel.
I mean, I think they had a three. They always kind of find a three-part plan.
Oh wow.
And they have some new. They introduced some really great, like, cool characters.
Yeah, I saw like Spider-Punk. I've seen pictures of him. I thought that looked really cool.
He's a cool character.
Yeah. I think he's getting his own comic now.
Oh yeah, I think he already did.
I gotta put it on my to read list. The Marvel and DC apps they sort of have, it's like Netflix or Hulu. You can just sort of add stuff on like my to watch list or your queue, I guess they call it.
Oh, nice.
I sound like I'm 1,000 years old.
No, you don't, bro. You're good.
Well,
Hey,
Mike,
hey,
you're very kind. You're very kind,
why
young
don't you go, Colin?
yeah.
Question.
Yes.
How long is it gonna take you to get some to get your social security?
13 and a half years.
Okay, 13 and a half years. That's plenty of that's you're not old.
I'm
Okay.
almost there.
Oh, you're not.
I can experience time though differently. Like and part of it'll go fast, but part of it'll go slow. And it's not that
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
That's like, yeah. And I'll live to be
Yeah.
old. Once it
Who
kicks in,
you are.
I'm gonna live to be like 150. If they could get humans to 150, we go 175, 200. I will be like an immortal cyborg on Social
Okay.
Security.
Nice. I hear you.
Traveling the universe, cashing
Yeah.
my checks at 24-hour cash checking, cashing vacations. Like, can I
Hey,
cash
buddy.
my Social Security check here? You cash human checks here?
All right. Where is my check, human? Please. Thank you.
Rick and Morty, that's my retirement plan. That's sort of like my
Fuck.
travel the universe.
As
I mean,
Rick or Morty? What do you mean? How does that even?
well, I just always think it's crazy to think UFOs are real. Like they're releasing videos, the government's talking about it, yada yada. So it's people out there. I mean, I don't know if you've seen. I'm sure you've seen them. Everyone's seen them now. The New York Times released like those three videos of these little things floating around. It's like anti-gravity's self-propelling. They can move so quickly. Someone out there is traveling through space in little spaceships, and yeah, if I could get my hands on one, it'd be like an RV, but instead of just like retiring and traveling across America, you just like have a flying saucer and you can explore time
Wow.
and space. That would be so cool.
Okay. I feel you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Social Security. So that's like paying my flying saucer gas.
Social Security, you know.
Yes. Well, Mike, this was awesome, man. Thank you
Good times.
so much. This was great. Thank you. I'm gonna have you back on again, and I hope you see I hope you see a UFO soon.
I'll have that.
Right on. Well, thank you, Mike. Have a great night, and that's awesome.
You have a good one, man. Take it easy.
Okay, you too. Bye. Oh, I don't know how to end it. Do you know how to end it?
Let me see. Yeah, here we go. Got it.
Can you still hear me?